Welcome to The Common Ground, where we explore how effective communication can build bridges between you and your market. Here's your host, Sterling McCormick.
Today, we're diving into another crucial corner, if you will, of communication: tone and voice. Whether you're speaking to a customer, writing a marketing email, or sharing your brand's message, the way you say something can be more important than the words themselves. We all know that tone can change the entire meaning of a message. Imagine saying, "Thanks a lot," to a customer with a warm, welcoming tone versus "Thanks a lot" in a sarcastic tone. The words are identical, but the feeling behind them, completely different. That's the power of tone. It sets the emotional stage for your message. I think this is really important to keep at the front of your mind, not the back of your mind, the front, when crafting written messages, especially professional emails and such. There's a little more elbow room with personal messages because usually the person you're emailing already knows you and can sort of fill in the tone. Well, we all know that even that can get dodgy though, but with professional messages, you can't underestimate the fact that the person does not know you in that way and that they are also filling in your tone as they read. So they could be injecting the completely wrong tone, even the complete opposite of the way you wrote it. I've seen it happen many times and it can get ugly. You've probably seen it happen too. And all of that is simply because tone creates the way that communication is received. Now let's talk about voice in the context of branding and business. Voice is the unique personality your brand carries through its communication. It's your brand's persona, and it needs to stay consistent across everything, whether it's your website copy, social media posts, and even your customer service interactions. And that's a really important side note, by the way, and we are definitely going to cover that in great detail in future episodes. But your brand's voice could be friendly and conversational, or it could be formal and authoritative. There are a lot of personalities your brand voice could have, but the key is to be consistent. If your audience can recognize your voice across platforms, they'll start to build trust with your brand. To give you an example, let's look at the brand voice of Old Spice. If you've been seeing their advertising in the last several years, you've noticed that they've taken on a very silly, exaggerated, hyper-masculine, on purpose, surreal persona. This was a rebrand, a successful rebrand, because it set Old Spice apart from their constantly growing competition. Now, here's the thing. Think about what Old Spice is. It's just a deodorant. I know they have shampoo and body wash, etc., but it's all the same. It's a hygiene product. In and of itself, it's nothing exciting. But their marketing makes it something to talk about. Years ago, Geico was brilliant enough to realize they could do this to punch up their non-interesting industry, insurance. They started using humor and nonsensical situations to get the audience's interest in their insurance product, and it worked. And they started a trend. Unfortunately for them, because now all of the insurance companies use that same tactic in their marketing. Liberty Mutual with the Emu and Doug, State Farm, Nationwide. Progressive has taken it to a whole new level, in my opinion. They've created an entire world with several characters for people to react to, like a sitcom cast, where everyone has their favorite. It's pretty brilliant. I could talk about this forever, but let's get back to the task at hand. So, how do tone and voice work together? Think of voice as the foundation. It's always there, consistent and recognizable. Tone is more flexible. It changes depending on the situation. For example, your brand might have a lighthearted and fun voice, but when addressing a customer complaint, your tone should shift to being more empathetic and serious. For business owners and marketers, mastering tone and voice can create deeper connections with your audience. When done right, it ensures that your message doesn't just reach your audience, but actually resonates with them. I've got 2 tips for you today to help you find the right tone and voice for your brand. My first tip, we all know and love, know your audience. You'll hear me say it 1,000 times on this podcast, and it's true across all forms of communication. You need to understand who you're speaking to in order to match your tone and voice to their expectations. If your audience is made up of young, trendy consumers, you might use a more casual, playful tone. But if your business caters to high-end professionals, you'll likely want to keep things more polished and formal. Second, like I said earlier, stay consistent. Once you've defined your brand voice, stick with it. Consistency builds familiarity, and familiarity builds trust. When your audience knows what to expect from you, they're more likely to engage and trust your brand over time. Next time on The Common Ground, we'll explore the importance of transparency, how you can build trust between you and your audience, because transparency speaks volumes to your customers. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, it's not just what you say, it's how you say it. Catch you on the next episode.